Hello and welcome to Beehave. Hello, I'm Anne Tolley, Minister for Education in New Zealand. I'm doing a special announcement on Beehave today. Now I hope you don't mind, but I've had to fit this into my already tight schedule, so I'm just preparing a salad for later at the same time. I have been complimented before on my salad making skills, and in fact I was once called Top Chopper Tolley. Now, Education Amendment Bill 2 proved to be quite a laugh at the second reading. And what I found really hard to take was the way that people assume that the government is here to look after them. I mean, really, we're here to lead, not follow. And that's exactly what you elected me for. I mean, they don't say that a government is in service, do they? But in power. And I'm using my head because that's where the power has gone. And I've decided to change the ridiculous amount of over-regulation in limited attendance early childhood centres. They were so bound up with red tape, you really couldn't get through the door. I'm aspirational, if nothing else. That's what I am. And I want to make it easier for people, especially mums, to leave their children somewhere while they go to shop or to the gym. Surely nobody can have a problem with that. We feel, just like in private schools, that when people have choices, they must make choices, and that involves information. But we don't feel that government has any role to play in making sure that the information is available. Now, my honourable friend Louise Upston, Mrs., made a good point that in her gym, when she leaves her 4-year-old, she can see the child through the glass. So that's a good reason for not regulating for these centres across the country, isn't it? Mrs. Upston can see her 4-year-old. So everybody else's children must be safe. Do you see? People have said that this bill will give licence to sex offenders and other dangerous adults to get jobs in these limited attendance centres. Our point of view is that it won't, because why should it? I mean, why should a sex offender be any more likely to want to work with children than anyone else? My point is, ask the centre. You just make sure it's okay by asking. Parents regulate the system by asking. What do you ask? You ask the centre if they're safe, and then you will get an honest answer. Others have said that people will just assume that we've vetted anyone who goes anywhere near children, but they don't know that we've been operating a private school system for 100 years that allows registered sex offenders to set up schools. We're changing that now, but not much. It's not government's job to regulate who looks after children. That's nannying. Hey, look, on the subject of abuse, I'd like to say that I think it's wrong to discriminate against paedophiles. I mean, you can't just discriminate against a whole strata of society like that. These people have got to work somewhere. And anyway, a lot of them are very nice people who just got sucked into it at an early age. And look, quite frankly, if someone did grape your little darling, you can tell your child that it was just a game. That way they won't complain when you take them back. Oh, I can hear the opposition now. The parents won't know, they won't know. Well, if they don't know, then they'll be none the wiser, will they? And we're certainly not going to put up any signs anywhere. Goodness no, there's no warning at private schools, and 33,000 children go to them. We don't want our children to be nannied, do we? We don't want kids to be mollycoddled. And I think I can say that we don't want our babies to be poofters. So before I go, I'd like to share with you a little tip. Now, ladies, we're not as helpless as some of these Nancy lefties would have you think, are we? We can take care of ourselves and our children fine. We organise ourselves properly before we go out. And we all carry one of these, don't we? For those little bits and pieces we can't do without. So if you're carrying one of these, it's quite a simple matter to also carry one of these. That way, you'll be more than a match for any creepy paedophile. Now, of course, I'm not suggesting that you should use violence to protect your children. I couldn't possibly advocate that. But if you think about it, you do need your nails done, and you absolutely must leave your child in a totally unregulated limited attendance centre with no glass panel. You can minimise your worry about some weirdo touching parts of your child by just taking those particular parts with you. Then you'll feel more secure. Of course, I'm not advocating violence. I obviously carry this because I'm the Minister of Education, and as such I might need to chop something up at very short notice. But I'm aspirational. that parents should take more responsibility, and who knows where that might lead. Anyway, that odious politician Ian Lees-Galloway, Labour, said that he'd like to see me go into an early childhood centre and ask whether the staff are sex offenders. So I'm going to do exactly that. And I'm inviting you, bunch of wimpy poofter losers, to come with me so you can see how it's done and what a simple matter it is. So let's go. This way. Behave.